Hey everyone, it's Talia here. Welcome back to another tricky nail art video. Today we are going to work with a variety of different nail art, including some water decals, crystals, Cateye, and even some art ink. So first we're going to prep all of our tips. I am going to be using some of these mazy colored ones throughout the video, and I will tell you why as we go. I just find it a little easier than having to paint like a neutral background, but we'll talk about it a little bit more. After I have my tip prepped, I am going to go in with some of the Gel X prep. First look that we're going to work through is pointed back crystals. So I'm going to start by taking this color from Apres. It's called Cottage Core, and it is currently in my favorites list because I just absolutely love the creamy shade of it. I'm going to go in and do just one coat down. I know that pointed back crystals are just so beautiful but can be kind of tricky to work with, so I prefer using a gel to work with these. I really like the Koko Claire gem gel because of this little brush that's on it. Just be forewarned that it might be a little bit difficult to get like a thin layer of product down with this. I do find sometimes I have to work it out with a brush, but I'm going to put the product down where I want it. Then I'm going to pick up the biggest crystal here. Now the thing that I really like to do with pointed back crystals is I like to take ones that are of different sizes and kind of surround each other and make a little cluster. I find this helps keep the crystals in a little bit better, and I find it kind of looks a little bit better too. Like it just looks like it's meant to be a really cool little cluster. I also really like adding some flat backs to kind of surround it. This is a double fold as to why I like to do this. I like to do it because one, I love the look, but I also find it helps keep in those pointed back crystals a little bit better. So I'm just going to surround this crystal look with some different sizes of flat backs that kind of match the AB crystals that I picked that are the pointed backs. Apres released this top coat collection that I have really been enjoying lately. So it consisted of 5 different gel polish top coats that cure tack free, and we're going to use one of them today, but I just thought I'd go through them really quick here. So this one here is called Blessings. Then we have Cherub, which has a nice pink finish. This one, Divine, has a blue finish to it. Angelic has like a green type of finish, and this one, Guardian, is the one that we're going to use. It has a gold finish to it. This is probably my most used out of all of them, but I do like pairing them with colors that kind of match their base. So because I'm going in with like a neutral base here, I thought this one would be a good top coat to use. So I find that your tack-free top coat is going to help seal in your crystals as well. If you're using genuine crystals, you do not want to go over top of your crystals with a top coat because that will take away the shine, but you do want to surround them as best as you can. So I'm going to cure this, and then when it comes out, I'm actually going to go in with a tack-free top coat that is just clear, and this little brush tool here, and I'm just going to apply some of the tack-free top coat up where those gems are a little bit raised, and this is going to help make it so that the crystals are not going to catch on anything, and it also again helps seal in the design. So I find all of these little tricks together really help keep in those pointed back crystals. For our next look, we are going to do this marbled stone type of look, focusing more on the art ink portion. So I have these glass gels here from Koko and Claire, and then I also have a palette with a bunch of their builder gels, which are kind of like a milky glass gel, if I could say that. So I'm going to be using both of them to create the base of this look. So I like to start with whatever glass gel I'm kind of going towards for this look. So I want it to look kind of pink and purpley. So I pulled a pink and a purple glass gel, and then from my palette, I'm also going to pull out a builder that has like a milky pink look to it, as well as one that has a milky purple look to it. But all we are trying to do here is we are just going to mix and marble those colors together until we are happy with the look. I do like adding a little bit of white to it as well. I think this just adds a little bit of extra dimension to the design. And the brush that I am working with is the Koko and Claire Ombre brush, which is one of my favorite brushes for marbling different types of gel looks. I also think it adds a really nice effect if you add some flakes to it too. These gold metallic ones you guys probably see in like every video because they seriously are such a favorite of mine. I love just how sticky they are and how well they work for these type of looks, but I am going to work out of the lid because I don't want to put too many of them down on the nail here. Now before we go in with our art inks, we are going to do a matte top coat over this entire design because I find it easier to work with art inks on top of a matte surface. I'm going to work with the Koko Claire white, which is the brightest white that I have personally found. I do find it a little finicky to work with though. I find that working on top of like a slippery surface like this works a little bit better for this particular color. So I actually fill like a watercolor pen up with alcohol and I drop that down on the nail first and then go in with my art ink so that I can blend it out here a little bit. So the main thing when it comes to working with art inks is that you can use alcohol, you could use acetone, or you could use like a combination of the both of them. And depending on which one you use is going to affect the art ink. So alcohol is going to just blend your art ink, which with the Koko and Claire ones I really like to do more so than the acetone. Acetone is going to take out your pigment when you are working with it. So if you've got too much of that product in one spot, acetone works really good for it, or it works really good for creating like some veining in your designs too. So I don't like to do a ton with the white art ink for these type of looks. I like to just add like a soft kind of veiny type of look with it, but if you wanted to, you could go in and do a couple different layers too. It just works really, really well because it is nice and pigmented, and for the most part I don't have too much trouble blending it out, but I do find I have to work a little bit wetter with the Koko and Claire ones. Now you can go in with a smaller brush and add some little details as well if you want. I like to work off of a palette on my thumb to do this, or you could also do the exact same thing with just like a gel or a paint after everything is all dried too, whatever you are feeling for this type of design. But after I have like the veining and the marbling down where I want it, I'm going to go in and top coat, and this design is done. I love all the depth that I can create with art inks, as well as working with glass or those like milky gel polishes. If I was to only pick up two art inks from Koko and Claire, it would be both the white and the black. I absolutely love working with them. So in this design, we're going to work with the black one. We're going to take this gel bottle color, which is a really nice white sparkle. When I'm working with black art inks, I do really like to work on a lighter base, such as a white like this. Now I am going to go in and do a matte top coat before I do my art inks, but I decided to use Fuzion's Venus, which has some really nice silver sparkles in it. Once that is cured, I'm going to go in completely dry with my art inks here, and I'm just working straight from the brush so that I can create my initial veining. And I am going to work with a little bit of acetone to create a little bit more of those actual deep lines with it. Now the Koko and Claire black art ink again is very, very pigmented, so if you're wanting to take away any of that pigment and create more like distinct lines, you're going to be wanting to work with acetone. But if you're wanting to blend it like I did here, you're going to work with alcohol. So I actually tried a few different brushes for this. I actually ended up cutting down one of my brushes too, because I'm like, I want a little bit more of that veining in here. So play around with your brushes that you have as well, or try out some that have like a bigger belly to them. I find that that works a little bit easier for different art inks. It does take a little bit to kind of get your groove when working with art inks, but play around with those two different mediums and try creating some different lines and some different veins and just kind of seeing what works for it. The nice thing about the Koko and Claire ones is that they create really distinct lines. So you could even take a finer brush and you could go in and add your own little veining with it too. I really like working with these inks. I decided to go in and add a little bit of white to this design too. It does end up bleeding quite a bit into the black, so it's creating kind of like a grayish look. I actually think I liked the look better when it was just the black, but I do like playing around with the black and the white together. And another way that you can work with these two colors but keep their colors a little bit separate is when you're done with the black, go in and do a matte top coat before you go in with your white, and that's going to keep your colors a little bit more separated too. But I just put a little bit down here because I did want a little bit of that white veining, and then I decided to go in with the black again and just create some smaller lines throughout. Sometimes I just don't know when to stop when it comes to art inks because I just have so much fun blending them and just kind of seeing what's going to happen with them. Did decide to go in with a shiny top coat for this just because I wanted those sparkles to pop a little bit more, but you could definitely do this look and keep it matte too. There's just something so fun about working with different shades of art inks. For look number 4, we are going to work with some glass gels and create kind of like an oceany type of look. This is perfect for the upcoming like spring, summer type of season. So these are the glass gels that I'm going to be working with, and I am going to pull Breezy Blue from my palette here, which is like that light milky blue color that you see going on the nails here. I do really like using this for just a little bit of a contrast between the glass gels to create a little bit of a milky look too. And I am going to use a little bit of May here too. I do that a lot whenever I am marbling. I just think that white really makes the colors kind of come together and adds a little bit of separation between them too. So the glass gels that I am going in with, I'm doing a couple different shades of blue. I really like this one because it's got a lot of like inkiness to it too. And then this darker one, I believe it's called Midnight Blue. I love this one for just adding a little bit of accents. You guys will see me work off of my palette a lot of times with an ombre brush too, and I just kind of drag all the colors together until I am happy with the look. And then when I am good to go with it, I am going to cure it. Taking some of the Millie flakes from Koko and Claire, I'm going to add a few of them into the dispersion layer of the blue gel here. So you could totally stop here. This looks fantastic. Do your top coat or embed it if you would like, but I actually love embedding flakes like this. So I'm going to take some of that blue glass gel again, and then I'm also going to take some of the Koko and Claire clear glass builder, and I'm going to go in over top of these flakes and just kind of give it like a blue see-through type of look. If you need to file it after it cures, that's where you would do it, but I'm going to go in and do my top coat, and this is how the look comes together. The best thing about this one is that there is no rhyme or reason to the marble. You just kind of work until you're happy with how it looks. Our first cat eye look for the tricky nail art is this one, where we're going to make it kind of look like a tie-dye cat eye effect. So I like to do a color that kind of coordinates with the colors of cat eyes that I'm going to be working with. This color is going to be poking through a little bit, so you want to make sure that you like it and that it works with the design. So we're going to use the Koko and Claire cat eyes here. We've got a couple of them that have some really fun like color shifting effects to them. I'm going to go in with one thin coat down and try and get it as even over top of that purple as I can. And I really like working with the Koko and Claire magnet. I find it to be just super strong, and I really like the shape of it when I'm holding it too. So after I have the coat down, I'm not going to cure it. I'm going to go in with my magnet here, and I'm just going to show you what happens when you like put it right on top. It causes all of the cat eye pigments to kind of move around like this. So I like to go kind of underneath, but also on the side, if that makes sense. And if you've played around with your cat eye too much and it's kind of like losing the luster look of it, like you can see it's starting to happen here because I'm just kind of showing you guys how to work with it. All you have to do is go in with cat eye on your brush again and then just paint it down. You're not adding more to it. You're just essentially bringing all those pigments back to the surface. And this is a really good way to work with it if you've been struggling to get your cat eye to pull. But I love the look of cat eye when it's kind of like off to a slant in the center of the nail. So that's what I'm working towards here, is to make all those magnets pull towards the center, because I do want to go in after it's cured and do another layer of some different coats, and that's how we're going to get that kind of like marbled look with it. I'm going to take this shade here because I love the contrast between like the pink and green that are in this one as well as the blue that was in the last one. I'm going to put it all over the nail, but I'm going to focus mainly on having the cat eye pull just off to the sides here. So I am going to use my magnet right in the center to remove those pigments, and then I'm going to take my magnet to the sides and kind of make them angled across that blue cat eye that we did initially. After I have it where I want it, I'm going to cure it, and I'm going to do the exact same thing with that first cat eye gel polish that we took, but I'm just going to go on the ends here and use my magnet to kind of pull and create a little bit of dimension with it too. So cat eyes can be really fun for creating different looks, especially if you want it to look like it's kind of marbled or tie-dyed like this. Using some different colors that kind of contrast each other as well as having a really nice base to it makes the cat eye so much fun to work with. A lot of times we will see cat eye gel polishes that do not have a duochrome to it, such as this one here. And what I really like doing with these gel polishes is creating like a French tip with them. But I'm going to show you some other ways that you can work with this too. So we're going to go in with one thin coat down, and I like working with the neutral bases for cat eyes like this because then I don't have to go in and do 2 coats and build up any sort of bulk. But remember, we are going to see a little bit of that neutral base poking through. So you can get these magnets like this that have like a flower design on them, and they are so fun to make your cat eye gel polishes kind of pull in different ways. This is a really simple look that you can do with your magnets like this. Put a crystal in the center, you're good to go. But I am going to start this one all over again by just evening out the Cateye here, because I want to show you another way that you can use these. So you can get these type of magnets too that have some really fun lines in them as well, and these create such a fun look with your Cateye gel polishes too. But ultimately I do love working with the Koko and Claire magnet. It is definitely my go-to. So I'm showing you how you can create a little bit more Cateye in the center here, and then you're going to take your magnet and you're just going to pull it all the way down to create that really cool French tip. You could stop here, you could leave it, but I am going to show you another tip, and that is working with some water decals. I recently saw this tip on working with water decals, and instead of like cutting the whole decal out, you just take a little bit of water on like a sponge like this and wet the back of it, and then after it's ready to be pulled, you use your stamper to pull it off. It works so good because then you can line up your water decal where you want it to be. So I picked some of these like neutral butterflies. I thought these would go really nice with the color, and I did put it down kind of where the French is, and I'm like, that looks really good, but I think I can add another butterfly here. So I went in and added another butterfly just more towards the cuticle, and then I'm just going to go in and top coat this look. This is such a fun accent nail if you were to do all of the nails like a really pretty Cateye French, and then just have a couple of them with some accents of some water decals on them. I love working with the water decals. They're nice and thin, and I find that they look like a little bit more realistic too. Our last look, we are going to work with some blooming gels as well as a little bit of stamping tips here too. So we're going to start again with a neutral tip as our base, because when I am marbling in these gel polish colors that I picked here, I want a little bit of that neutral base poking through without having to add too much bulk to the nail. So I am going to go in with 3 of these different colors on my ring palette, and I'm going to take the Apres drop gel, which is a blooming gel. It is a nice thin consistency. The Koko and Claire one works really good too. I just find it to be a little bit thicker to apply here. So after I have that drop gel down, I'm not going to cure it, and then I'm going to take my ombre brush, picking up some of those colors that I put on my palette, and just marble them into each other, but just gently on top of that blooming gel. So I did add a little bit of green just for a pop of color here, because I am going for a really fun spring look. Now there is a lot of different marbling techniques that you can do with having a blooming gel as your base. I love the look of just dragging colors together here, but you can do a little bit more marbling with them. You can just drop a couple shades down and watch them kind of like flow out to each other. It is such a fun medium to work with. Again, we could just stop there with our design, but I decided to add a little bit of stamping to this as well. So I'm going to go with a matte top coat so that I've got a nice foundation to work on. This is the stamping plate that we are going to be working with, and some stamping tips coming your way. So make sure you remove the blue film. This is definitely something that you need to do to have the grooves of the plate. You want to make sure you're working with a stamping polish that has a really good consistency. If it's too dry, it will not lift up as well. And make sure that you are scraping it nice and light when you are pulling it, and then when you're lifting, you're kind of doing like a rolling motion to lift it up. And same thing when you're stamping it down, you are going to go in with a rolling motion too. So I decided to go in with a peach color as my base for this kind of abstract flower look, and I love working with number 60 stamping polish from Clear Jelly Stamper. It is a brown like metallic. I really like outlining this, especially for like spring nails when I don't want it to be like too harsh and bold of a color. I'm going to plop that down on top of it too, and then I decided to go in and add a little bit of greenery. There's this really fun like greenery abstract image on the plate as well, and I thought it would look good just kind of off to the side of this nail as well. I am such a sucker for a shiny top coat. I just love the way like nail art in depth looks with a shiny top coat, but I do think this design would look really good matte. So I hope this video helped you guys with some ways to work with some tricky nail art that's out there. If there's anything else that you guys need help with tricky nail art, comment below and let me know so that I can add it to my next tricky nail art video. Make sure you're following me on all my social media, and if you want any more in-depth looks at how to create some of these type of designs, make sure you check out my workshops. I've got 5 of them up right now, and they dive into the ins and outs of different nail art in a completely different way than my YouTube videos. So make sure you check them out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.